Greetings, friends, and welcome back to another live stream here on Kirby Russia. These live streams always surprise me that people show up to them. I'm not a huge follower of live streams. I have like one good buddy who does some live streams. I jump in from time to time. But I have to say, I appreciate you guys. Look at that. We've only got like 20 people here. This is awesome. 20 people from the word get-go. Thank you very much for being with me. I am super appreciative of that. And the thing is today, I think probably the reason that many of you are here and why you want to jump on the live stream from the get-go is because today is the day when I found out the destiny of the American village. And unfortunately, friends, I might be an okay actor, but I'm not the best actor. And as you could tell, if things would have gone really badly, I would probably be a lot more sad or angry, or I might not have even I might not have decided to even do this. There'd probably just be some very hatefully written post because sometimes when I get angry, I get a little close to possibly getting my career destroyed because the swearing begins and the logic turns off and all that stuff. But then again, we're all human. But when you're in the media, people expect you to be more than human. But that's a different issue. So let's go through what exactly just happened. Well, it's one of these things where we have, maybe I should say this now. What happened? We have the situation where we have the good news and the bad news, depending on how you look at it. The good news is the team of the governor and the governor himself confirmed that, yes, the American village will happen, and they're going to give their full support, and this thing is going forward. We're going to do the painful process of transferring the land to our organization there, changing the status of the land. By status, that's the Russian word, the zoning, changing the zoning, and then we're going to have to subdivide it. However, during the process of subdividing it, we can already begin construction. Then we're going to start trying our best to build buildings on it and all this, and actually have this American village. There's also some good news that maybe we could talk about later if you're curious, but I plan to make a post about that in the near future. I'm actually have to make the post on a special. We'll get to that. There's a lot to talk about, but there's going to actually be some other things besides the American village built relatively close to it. So although we're going to keep our lovely woods and natural surroundings, there's actually going to be a little bit more there to see and do than there was before. So that's kind of cool. So the village is happening 100% for sure. So that's the good news, obviously, from my perspective. Maybe some of the haters would say the opposite. The bad news is the start date, the date when this isn't the start date for construction of anyone's home, but sort of the official opening day will be July the 4th, 2024. Yeah, it's, I guess, just the way they do things. They say that at like sort of the beginning of every year, that's when they can actually go in and they sort of put all the zoning changes that they need to make from the previous year, which is kind of a weird thing to do if you think about it. You think that maybe the zoning might be more urgent, but they only do it once a year, and it happens sort of after New Year's holiday. The New Year's holidays are over. I forget what the guy said, maybe February or March. And they basically, one time a year, when they have to change the zoning of all the land around Serpukhov, they do it once in one big swipe. And so we essentially have to wait for the big swipe. But there's plenty of stuff that we have to do before that, before the zoning change, to make that sort of happen. But that's one of the reasons why it's going to take. In fact, that's really the only reason it's going to take a long time is we sort of have to wait for that date. If any of you watch speedrunning, they say no matter what you do, the first 8 minutes of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it takes 8 minutes to get through the first part of the game because there's a clock that makes you wait. So, unfortunately, we're kind of stuck in the universe of Castlevania speedrunners because there's really no way we can speed this thing up. They kind of thought of maybe some ways that it could be sort of made urgent, but those ways were very expensive. And doing things sort of on this buddy system the governor promised means we have to wait for this one particular day. But that's okay. Because all the other processes involved in this are not they're going to take super long. However, some of them are going to be difficult, and So yeah. Now let's get to maybe because I know some of you guys are going to have questions, and we're going to do questions at the end. We can have verbal questions, and remember, if you look on the main Tim Kirby Russia, the actual Telegram channel, the image there, Telegram live stream starts in 30 minutes. If you comment there, or if you really comment anywhere on the site channel, I should use proper terminology on the channel, I'll be able to see those comments and read them, but I'm not going to do that just quite yet. However, guys, as you might expect, there's this thing called Boosty that can allow you to donate money to me. And after putting in about a year and a half worth of effort, and I guess I've succeeded, if you guys want to congratulate me with some Boosty, you can do that. I should try to find some of my videos here on Rumble. Because if someone wants to also donate some crypto, that would be amazing. Because I actually just got a crypto donation the other day, and I don't quite remember who to thank. So remind me, because I want to thank you personally, because it was very nice of you to do. I just need to find the stupid address for the crypto stuff. Okay. I probably should have never put my Monero wallet up there, because I really prefer Binance. So let's actually not show Monero. We'll just go with Tim's Binance, because that takes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's wonderful. If you remember, just a few days ago, we uploaded the interview with Dmitry Kostin, and he really described why Bitcoin is really revolutionary, why Ethereum is a little bit not so revolutionary. So you might want to go back there and listen to that interview. But anyways, if you guys are in the mood to congratulate me, or you feel grateful that it took a year and a half of this bureaucracy BS to finally get this thing approved, feel free. But you don't have to. That's up to you. So anyways, now, what are some things that are probably some questions you're going to be asking? Well, it's like, Tim, okay, so what about immigrating? The whole thing is, yes, the governor signed off on, I think I officially wrote like 230 families, but one thing that happened is that was 230 families for the way I drew the map when we thought a big real estate development company was going to do this, and they wanted to do things more tighter. But if they're not going to be a part of this because they got bought out, then so be it. So I kind of sat down actually today and started to sort of redraw the map of the community based on the governor's team's recommendations. They made some kind of smart recommendations, and one of the main things they said is that, guys, we're a little bit on our own. Now, what does that mean? Well, one of the things is that they looked around, and since the our village doesn't border any actual villages, it can't be considered like a little city. Okay, unfortunately, that's just the way things are. That apparently, for something to gain city status is very difficult, and it's not going to happen. And essentially, we need to sort of border something that already exists as like it's called IGS, which is like individual residential construction, which essentially for Americans would be single family housing, but it doesn't have to be single family, but that's the American equivalent. The name's a little bit misleading. But so anyways, we can't do that. What are they going to do for us? Well, they're definitely going to do all the stuff related to the zoning, the subdividing, and thank frickin' goodness, they're 100% going to provide electricity, at the very least, to the border of the village. Now, after that, guys, remember, Russia's not as expensive as America, and the village is going to grow slowly over time. And I looked into the prices of buying like a transformer for a small city. They're actually not that expensive. So looks like we're going to, some of the first people who are going to come, we're going to talk a little bit in the near future, as in today, right now, about our kind of plan as to how we can afford to get this big industrial transformer. And again, because I had to redraw the map, there's probably going to be less houses than 230. There's probably going to wind up realistically being like 160 because people want more land. Again, we're not having a deal with that construction company that demanded more houses. So ultimately, the big fat transformer that takes like the big electricity from like the big wires, and sort of distributes it to houses. So we're going to have to install that. And as time goes on, slowly but surely, we're going to have to move these electric wires kind of from house to house. So, yeah, whether that be in the air or burying them, because a lot of times in Russia they actually bury them, and burying them might be cheaper, although it seems like in dacha communities they tend to not do that, and I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a reason, but we'll find out. But if we can bury those wires, and maybe keep certain little parts of the trench maybe accessible, that would be amazing. That would be better. Maybe that's the reason, because if you have to bury it, you kind of have to do it at one time. Whereas if it's on a post, you can do it whenever. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but posts aren't crazy expensive either. So that's cool. We're going to have electricity for sure. My telephone worked there, so your telephone's going to work. That guarantees the internet, and anywhere that there's electricity, there can essentially be the internet. So essentially that guarantees the internet. That's generally the things in Russia work. Some people would say no, because if you're on some like weird mountain in the Caucasus, yes, they probably have electricity, but no like cable internet. But we're going to have 160 houses that are going to have people living there permanently. The internet's it's a non-issue. It's like a 99% certainty. So we have that. We have the electricity. Now here's where we get to the downsides. Gas remains unclear whether we're going to have gas or not. But even if we do have gas, it's only going to be, again, connected to the front of the village. And the thing about gas is the hookup costs are always kind of brutal. Like the gas is real cheap, but the initial getting it to actually be at your house, it's not cheap at all. So I'm not quite sure about gas. Water is not happening because we're not going to be in a city. So we're going to have to do the whole septic tank thing. The poopies are going to have to be dealt with sort of the way we deal with them in Chekhov. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's the way things are going to be. So if you want to, live life in amazing Russia, you're going to have to invest in a septic system, which are obviously very popular here, or do an outhouse for a while, because you can always do an outhouse for a while, bury it full, and then do a septic system or something else. So nothing wrong with that. So how are we going to get the money to build this? Well, one of the things that we're hoping to do is to get the village to be recognized as essentially a socially important project, which the governor said he would do. And again, so that means that it's going to happen, because they're going to give us their full support in this. So that means that if it's a socially important project, what happens? If someone donates 15 million rubles towards a socially important project, they basically automatically get fast-tracked to having permanent residency, and then within a year they can get citizenship. So essentially, it really cuts a lot of the fat out of immigration. It gives you that wonderful ability to immigrate without having to worry about the stupid quotas or anything like that. It is an amazing fast track. And not only does it do that for you, but it does it for wife/husband, all your kids, if they had kids, and your parents. So it not only does this super donation to a socially important project provide you with citizenship for a very large one-time fee, but it provides all your direct family members with it as well. So this could be something for certain wealthy people have been talking to me in Timur. That might be an option for them, especially if they're in a hurry. Now, one of the things is that this donation is large, as in 15 million rubles. And although housing prices have increased, you can get one heck of a house for still the house of my dreams would be 7 million rubles. So what we can do with that is the person makes a donation. They're going to get the same kind of, or first off, we have to kind of pick again who's going to be developing these houses. But trust me, because I'm going to be getting one of them, basically, you're going to be at my standards. So it's not like I'm going to be hanging out in Chekhov building some sort of elite building while I stick you guys with double wide trailers here. So I'll be living by the same standards as everyone else, and we're all going to have, relatively speaking, as the houses made by the same construction company, using the same methodology. So essentially the quality will be not that different. We may come up with probably, talking to these companies, maybe two versions, like a smaller version and a bigger version of the house. Now that this is actually 100% confirmed, Timur and I are actually going to go, and we are going to talk to some of these companies about this. Because obviously one house doesn't fit everyone. If some of you guys out there really do have 6, 7, 8 kids, well, when I think of a house, oh my gosh, 120 square meters, it's so big, that's crazy. How could you heat that? Well, 120 square meters divided by 8. Oh, I should be able to do this in my head. 8 times times 2. No, so it has to be less. That'd be what, 16? So it's like 16 square meters a person, if you think about it in terms of people. Well, that's like living in a studio apartment. No. So some people are definitely going to need a larger option, and there definitely is going to need to be a smaller option because, living by yourself 120 square meters is like living in a stadium by yourself, if you're kind of in that phase of life or whatever. So we're going to put together 2 options, one small, one big. How small, how big, that really depends on the construction company. That depends on their methodology. Thankfully, one construction company, well, actually there's 2 that are very excited about this project now finally. Well, the one was excited, but they got bought out. Now we have one where they build homes almost like, how they make the Soviet commie blocks out of panels? Well, they do use the same technology, only they look really nice. And trust me, guys, you may think wood is romantic. Panels are a bazillion times more effective, more resilient, and they have an insulation layer in the middle of them. Oh my goodness. You guys should see these houses, and you will when we eventually go and film how they kind of do their thing. And they said they wanted to work out 2 concepts with us of how they could take their houses, which are sort of in that 6 to 7 million ruble range, and maybe make them a little bit more economical, because their houses have a few things that I think are doodads and gimmicks. Like they actually have an HVAC system, I believe is what it's called. And that's where, you like in Texas, or especially Texas, it seems like Texas is on all HVAC, where you sort of have like this heater and cooler, and they're constantly blowing disgusting air on you all day long. I mean, that's cute in the United States, but it's nice words today, but it's poopies and garbage. It's not a good system for Russia, especially with the extreme temperatures here, and breathing in mold all day is something I don't miss about the United States. So we're going to get that HVAC the F out of there and go with probably getting you guys set up with the mini gas tanks that we talked about last time, because the mini does not cost that much money, and gosh darn does it work. And especially if we're all going to be running on a mini. Remember, the mini is 2.5 months worth of gas for an entire big house. So it's mini in quotes. If we're all running a mini, then that basically means that, we're going to be able to have a good relationship with this gas company. It's not going to be a weird thing for them to come out there. We can probably have the truck come and service like 2 or 3 houses at once, so it's going to be, that's probably going to be a good thing. So we're probably going to be doing gas heating with the mini. I also think in the plans, it's very important because sometimes bad things happen. And if bad things happen in the middle of January, that can be real bad. So I think every house, again, a cheap decision, every house should have the option. Well, electric heating is easy. You buy a Balu heater and you just stick it in the wall and the plug. So that's something everyone could do on their own if they want. But every house should probably have something that can burn, like some kind of little stove that you can burn, because you'd be amazed how much heat you can really get going from a stove. So we are probably going to have everything planned to have a stove somewhere, burning stove, with the mini outside, because they're a lot cheaper than the full size ultra gas container. Yeah. And also they're way, like I mentioned in the previous video, they're also way safer because you can't, there's no way for the methane to build up. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Oh, the other construction company actually is, it's more of a construction project by the government. Now this one's a little bit more exciting because I heard words from the guys like grant money, we're developing this technology. Maybe we can sort of organize something. And when I hear grant money, that makes me think this is awesome because it might be cheaper. But they want to, for some reason in Russia, develop 3D printed homes. Remember, there actually is no such thing as a 3D printed home. There is something called a home that has 3D printed walls. All right. But if you haven't noticed, walls are kind of like one of the big, most expensive, important things that make a home. So I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but there's no such thing as a 3D printed roof, or 3D printed electrical wires that are in your house, So they're 3D printed walls. I've looked into 3D printing, and it's actually kind of awesome. Even if they can't get grant money, It's pretty economical depending how you do it. So, okay. I think I talked about that in the last stream, but who knows? Maybe some people didn't hear it, so we're talking about that. I'm just trying to kind of in advance talk about all these topics, so that way, we're not running through like the same questions a million times. Yeah. Oh, and probably, the last thing I think that's really important to mention about this project before I get to your questions and answers is now, from this moment on, as soon as I can catch up on some work, sorry, got to catch up on some work. I'm a little bit behind here. When I catch up on some work in the next few days, that means that now, since we really know basically what we're going to do and what this thing is going to look like, and the amount of things that are like, maybe we could do it this way, maybe we could this, it's the amount of that stuff that's variable is decreasing. It's vastly decreased. So now what does that mean? We can make a VK group and a dedicated Telegram channel, and maybe a dedicated, well, I don't want to use dedicated. I'll put the YouTube stuff where I always put the travel stuff. But we'll have a dedicated Telegram channel and VK channel, and I'll try to maybe put together like a PDF presentation about this for the public, completely open to the public. We're now that we really understand everything that's happening. Sorry, that was like the Jedi mind trick thing. So essentially now is going to be time for the big promotions. It's going to get time to get people pumped because another thing you should be aware of is, when we went up to Novgorod Veliki, there was some interest in this village, but the people there, like the deputy governor, was a little bit kind of confused by it. My one friend who lives up there, I think he kind of sold him on the idea, but at the same time, I think maybe the deputy governor just kind of felt sorry for us. It was a little weird, but he was kind of like, "This is kind of cool," but you could tell by the look on his face, he was like, "Man, this is a very weird thing, but I kind of like it. But it's very weird, but I kind of like it." So I'm not really sure about the village in Novgorod. I think that's going to happen as soon as this one gets more rolling. But there is a teeny weeny tiny place that is hard to pronounce called Masalsk. And the problem is it's the L with the soft sign after it, so it's not Masalsk, it's Masalsk. And I do not say that very well. As Russians will tell me, "You've lived here 16 years and you still have an accent." Of course I do. I was born in a different country, and I only started to learn a foreign language at 22. But Masalsk. Hold on. Masalsk. Okay, so anyways, we are going to show you that because essentially the people in Masalsk, okay, they're ready to rock and roll. Like, this is the difference between the Moscow region and Masalsk. They contacted, I talked to them like a month ago, and they're like, so, excuse me, let me share the screen and do it like so. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on, cancel. Because I got a bunch of stuff open, and I don't want to play click madness here. Okay, share the screen. Now we have one thing open. Isn't it amazing? Share the screen. Okay. So anyways, this is Masalsk. It is very small. But one thing is, if you look around it, in fact, we should probably go to the geography view or whatever. Wow. Those are a lot of untapped fields, a lot of abandoned fields and farms and all that stuff. And the people in Masalsk, we just talked to them with Timur, and they basically said, "Why? Oh, it's interesting. That's a different color. That's the way it is on my screen too." The people in Masalsk told us that I was like, "Look, what are our numbers here? What can you do?" And what they can do for you, and this is going to have to also become clear because I'm going to have to kind of make some kind of like project about this, is if some of you guys want to move to Russia like right now and you have farming experience, not, "Well, Tim, I'm interested in farming," or "Having a farm is my dream." I mean, no, have you worked at a farm for 10 years? If you have like, many years of farming experience, if you know the whole deal, you can go to Masalsk like basically right now. And they will allow you to rent for a nominal fee of like $40 a year, some gigantic territory of land. In fact, one person who Timur has been working with quite intensely. Okay, I guess we can go downtown. One person that Timur has been working with quite intensely. See, Masalsk is very small. So it is super small and it is super isolated. But anyways, one person that Timur has been working with they wanted like something like ridiculous, like 150 hectares, and they're like, okay. After one conversation, let's do it. Let's get those passports. Let's go. Let's go. That's kind of their attitude there. So Masalsk really wants people to develop their products there. For those of you who know the Azbuka Vkusa chain of grocery stores, apparently a lot of their food comes from Masalsk, especially their meat. And so they are like, it is meat time, baby. Time to make that meat. So, yeah. Gosh, Russian towns are so much better when they have no Soviet stuff. they're so much cuter. Guy on a bike. Hello. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's Masalsk in summer right there. All right. But anyways, kind of a tiny place, guys. But if some of you really want to do farming and you want that government support and you want to be able to essentially have access to land that after you get citizenship, they'll give you hundreds of acres of land. You go to Masalsk, but you have to have that farming experience because for the average person, that is not going to be easy. So essentially, this American village, now we have Father Joseph's crew up in the north, which has sort of always been there. We are going to have the southern village, which is going to be like the main giga project. And now for those who may have amazing farming technology or something, it's some kind of spare bank, of course. Spare bank. Oh, wherever you are, there's a spare bank. And what's this? Can I go over there? What's over there? Let me go. It won't let me. Why not? Why can't I go over there? This is stupid. All right. Oh, Pechorочка, yes. Speaking of food, nom nom, Pechorочka. Everything's amazing. Magnet. More groceries. Oh, boy. I got the grocery stores. Oh, there's some kind of park over there. Is that a school? What is this? And it doesn't look like a school. Oh, it's just a park just to have a park. Well, that's nice. That's cute. What is this place? What is this? Oh, it says Fragrant Bakery. All right, then. It looks like they have stuff to set up. What is that? Stuff for Bitovaya Technica. Oh, so that's like your, oh, gosh. Home appliances. There we go. So there's some stuff going on in Masalsk. Anyways, it is super teeny tiny, as you can see by the map. Let me take off this thing. And it is very far from Moscow. It is a 4-hour drive. 3 hours to Chekhov, 4 hours to Moscow. So there you go. But anyways, we're going to stop the screen sharing for now. Stop. And, yeah, so I think that's the big revelation there, that we're going to have to, that the project starts officially in 1 year. Get ready for 4th of July, 2024. And that's the super start, when people are actually going to start living in the village. And that's the big news. And then the other news is that we have this farming related project and really good relationship with this tiny place called Masalsk. But again, guys, you can't without experience, jump on a 150 hectare farm. Sorry, hectares are bigger than acres. 150 hectare farm and expect to be like the lord of cattle ranching within a year. It is not an obvious process, okay? So that's our big news. And let's go talk to Cheb, which is kind of scary. Your icon there. Hello, Cheb. I hope you're not a troll because I don't want my mood to be ruined. Could be.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. How you doing, Tim?
Fine. Well, actually, pretty good today.
Awesome. I see the jersey. Is that from your football team here in Moscow?
Yeah, we got they updated the second team jerseys, so I finally have. In fact, they look basically exactly the same as the first team jersey, so it's like, oh, it's new and it's wonderful. And this is the one that I'm going to keep nice. So we just got it recently, so I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good about that.
Very nice. If my medical insurance here in Moscow was better, I would probably join that football team. But
really?
I'm approaching 32. I'm worried about injuries, so it's like.
Well, dude, I mean, do you hate the state healthcare that much, or do you actually have private insurance, or what?
I do have insurance, but it was offered through the university here, so I'm like, I don't know how good it is or how bad it is. I don't want to get injured to find out how good or bad it is.
Well, dude, how about you look into it, because we would love to have you. I mean, look at my old ass. I'm 41 and I'm out there, and I still made the cut, although it was kind of tough. But with the war thing and some people fled the country and all that, there's a little bit of space. So, dude, if you wanna write me again, so we don't. So this is a real great time to discuss football. But you can write me a private message here over Telegram or VK or whatever, and just find out what your actual insurance policy actually is. And if you like it, I'll give you some time to come to one of our practices, and you can talk to the guys. Or if you want to go against us, because we're kind of the big franchise here. But if you want to have a challenge, I'd be happy to introduce you to some of the other teams that are looking to destroy our dynasty. So
for sure, man, for sure, that'd be super cool. So I've been in Moscow here for a year, actually, a year and like 5 days. But just in my free time, I've been just doing these drawings. And you were talking about, you've been talking about, excuse me, building this village for a while.
Yeah.
When I was listening to you, I was wondering if you considered, in as far as the design of these houses are concerned, as far as building them into the ground, as far as, 1 story deep down into the ground, because just in my investigation into the topic, it seems that if you go at least like 10 to 15 feet underground, as far as where most of the people are living, the rooms, the living room, all that kind of stuff, it solves a lot of the energy efficiency problems. Like it'll bring down your costs a lot as far as heating, cooling, because in the summer it stays cooler underground. In the winter, it stays warmer underground. You're using the earth as insulation, essentially.
No, trust me, I've seen that. In fact, even where I'm from in the Midwest, I'm gonna again mute you because weird background noises destroy my brain. So we're gonna mute you, not because you're a bad person, but because the background noises conflict with my thought process. But even where I lived in Cleveland, there actually was like an experimental, like almost completely underground house near us, which I thought was kind of crazy. Near enough that I drove past it, I rode past it, I should say, as a child, many times. Now the thing is, why didn't that take off as a phenomenon? Why don't more people do that if it's really affordable? The thing is that basements tend to be kind of gross. They tend to be very musty and very nasty and very dark. And yes, if you go underground in Russia, you're going to increase. Oh, already mosquitoes. Get out of here. No time for you. Bite me later. If you go like underground in Russia, I mean, you're going to get to the point where you're below the frost line, but it's going to be nasty and stinky, and you also then have to deal with the forces of the ground potentially moving. And so the more, underground structure you have, the more movement that there could be with the land, and could want to kind of push it in. Obviously, there's rebar and all this other stuff to reinforce it, but it kind of opens a big can of worms. And I think that there's a reason why in Russia they almost never build homes with basements. I think that there's logic behind that. And I could shoot it past one of the construction company when we go to visit them, but since no one does it, I don't see how they could do it, because it's not the way they roll. Also, the village is near a major river, and if you actually go on the maps there and kind of look around the Aka River by Serpukhov, like most rivers, logically, you kind of get the sort of sweeping plain, and then it goes down and down and down and down towards the river. Well, we're on one of those plains heading towards the river. And, during like the big melt in spring, or if there's a heavy rainstorm, imagine if your life is based in that basement, the chances of getting a flood and getting that basement destroyed are like really high. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to pass on that one. How about 1 or 2 more thoughts, Cheb? You're back. You're back online here. 1 or 2 more thoughts, then I want to get to some written questions.
Okay, no, that's very interesting. I'm going to think about that, because when I've been doing these drawings, I've been thinking it would have to be elevated at least a little bit, just in case you would have to drain off something from some higher ground, right?
Yeah.
But that's something I just wanted to run past you because I've been.
Well, yeah, well, here's one thing, dude. Because remember, this is a project. The way it is since we haven't been able to find like some sort of crazy investor who wants to invest, millions of dollars into this and do it as like an actual development project. I mean, if you like, I say that we're going to find a builder that's reliable and try to build this one type of house. Man, if you're already here in Russia and you have money saved up, and this is a first come first serve thing. As soon as we're able to actually say, okay, we're going to say that this piece of territory that's subdivided belongs to you. If you want to put a house down there and you want to find someone who's going to build you some crazy basement, freedom, baby, do it. That's completely up to you. So can I find a company that could do that for everyone? No. If you find some company that's going to be like, I can't remember the term for that, where a house is half buried, but they want to make a half buried house, for you, and you want to try that out, go nuts, man. Freedom.
Yeah, I feel you. Sorry, I got the dog in the back chewing on something.
That's okay.
Because I've heard you mention a couple times where this village is at. Hold on, I got my tablet out. I just wanted to see actually on Yandex Maps exactly where this village is.
Well, yeah. So finally, I can reveal that because it's sort of too late. It's already been approved. So now I can actually tell you guys it's near Podmoklova. Podmoklova.
Say that one more time.
Podmoklova. Podmoklova. All O's.
Podmoklova. Okay.
In fact, I'll try to get it on the screen here if I can. Hold on. Nope, that's Tula.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
Hold on. I'm a slow man. I am not a wizard here. Anyways, Chib, that background noise is destroying my psyche. So here we go. We have Serpukhov. So anyways, and I know that you guys don't like that I show everything in this kind of zoomed out view, but there was above there Moscow. So here we have, this says Serpukhov, where it's turning red and black, and this is the Aka River. And essentially this is the super highway that goes between Moscow and Tula. And then this is the train that goes between Moscow and Tula, stopping at Serpukhov up here. And then the village is going to be abouts right there, okay, where it says Podmoklova. And somewhere where my mouse pointer is around here, I want to make a separate, actually maybe even video about this, because it'll be very important for the future of the village. And just saying it on one live stream, it's not going to be good enough, because now we have to make promotional material. But they're going to be building some sort of IT cluster, something of that nature. So there's going to be something built over here that's going to actually provide a lot of jobs, which kind of works out really effing nice. That you can go from the isolation of the woods with a monastery over here and walk to here where there might actually be some IT jobs. Kind of sweet. Because they're actually sort of reorganizing the map of the Moscow region. So here we have Serpukhov, and I should really expand this because I can't even see it myself. No, wrong screen. No, stop that. So we have Serpukhov, Protvina, and Pushina. Okay, so you see Pushina, Serpukhov, Protvina, or is it Protvino? I don't remember. I think it's Protvina. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll figure that out later. This is definitely Pushina. But anyways, this triangle, they want to really develop this triangle in terms of experimental industrial, not industrial let's make a bunch of rubber tires and pump gas into the air, but industrial in the 3D printing, CNC machines, programming, maybe some video games, that kind of stuff. And it's all going to be in this triangle. And by the grace of God, the village is right over here. I just found out about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. The plans have in fact, the government they were keeping this a secret for a long time ago. So this is just an amazing coincidence, a crazy, amazing coincidence that I think is going to work out really well. Obviously, one of the problems with the Protvina is no bridge. So, although it's near. One of the funny things is, to be honest, if someone actually were to get a job in Protvina, it'd probably be in your best interests to just have a boat and boat across and take a taxi or something. Yeah, because how much from Podmoklava is it? Hold on. Where's this thing? Podmoklava to Protvina is how much? 8 kilometers. So you take off a couple kilometers there. You take your boat, maybe grab a taxi, go there. So, yeah. Because apparently during the Soviet Union, there was some high-tech stuff going around down these parts, and they want to make it a high-tech megapolis kind of thing. So, yeah, that's going to be really cool. Anyways, how do I stop this? Please stop. Stop sharing. Okay. So anyways, remember, guys, if any of you have some questions, I do appreciate the person who your name looks just like a soccer goal. That's awesome. That's an awesome username. Besides Cheb. Sorry, Cheb. We've had a lot of talk with you, my friend. You're a nice guy, but we need to have more people. Oh, my gosh. The man who's officially the boss, but I know who you are. What's up, man?
Hey, Tim. Real quick, how many families are going to be able to fit in your American project?
Approved 230 families. Realistically, to fit them in there, but based on the plan, the new updated plan, after I talked to the governor's staff, probably 160.
And
but again, yeah.
How many do you have now that are really serious?
Oh, really serious? Who knows? But there's like 80 families or something. I don't like. One thing is some people might find it kind of weird, but I'm not a really kind of like statistics person. All I care about is that people are going to come, and I know people are going to come, and I know there are a few hardcore serious people. All we need is the critical mass of literally like 6 to 10 groups of people to come, and that's all we need to get that transformer, to get the initial power up, to get the initial construction going, and after that everything's going to fall into place. I don't know how many people are serious. People back down from stuff all the time, but we definitely have that core minimum amount of people to get this thing really going. So, yeah.
Is it mostly Americans or Europeans as well?
It is a very wide mix. If I would say mostly Americans, maybe, yeah. Maybe if we divide the world into 2 English-speaking accents, be it USA, Canada, the North American accent, and then the sort of British Empire accent, I would say that the North American accent will be the dominant one by a pretty significant margin. But there's a lot of people also who are very interested because, dude, if you remember, things in England are out of control. I even remember when I took. Unfortunately, I'll never get to probably see the West ever again, which is kind of a downer. It'd be nice to see where things are going. But man, when I went to that wedding in England, and especially because the people were a little bit more sort of they were upper middle class people, and man, it's just they're like, if you think that Moscow liberals hate their country, wow, this seething self-hatred, it was just unbelievable. So I could see why people might want to leave England, and the fact that everything there is getting really expensive and their money is losing all of its value. Apparently things are pretty brutal there. It looks like they're also the pioneers of this whole 15-minute city thing and blocking off roads for no reason. Well, environmental reasons. So there's a lot of reasons to leave England. I think England is way ahead of the curve in terms of insanity, them in Australia. So I think we're going to have no shortage of people who are very fed up, who can use our American football field to play Aussie rules football if they like. Great sport as well. That they also play in Moscow. There are a few teams here, or at least there used to be. So.
Oh, listen, Tim. Thank you for everything that you're doing, man.
Oh, no problem. No problem, man. It's kind of, I guess it's kind of my destiny. Anyways, my dear friend, I'm going to mute you for now. And the man who was just talking here, again, because you changed your name to being the boss now, so I don't know how much you want to use your actual real life name. But anyways, guess what? He's going to be doing some pretty cool podcasts with a certain other friend of mine about life in Russia. So those will be appearing as they happen. I'll be sharing them to my channel because I like to share things from people that I like who are sane. Because there are some people I like who are also kind of mental. And I don't want to share what they make because it's insane. Anna Zimmerman is here. Hello, Anna. Hello. Anna, did you want to speak? Or was this an accidental hand raising? Sometimes people raise their hand. Oh, there we go. Okay, wow.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I can.
Hi. Great. Okay. Well, firstly, I want to say thank you, Tim. We are so grateful to you because you're so right. It is absolutely terrible here in England. We're all desperate to get out. Anyway,
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm just going to say one thing is I'm definitely not the most famous person in the world, but a lot of people share their sorrows with me. I'm kind of like an international Russia-oriented bartender, and everyone tells me a lot of their personal problems. And I'll tell you what, Anna, England, Australia, and to an extent also New Zealand, the worst about this whole COVID parental rights. It's just the worst. Those three are the three heads of Cerberus of globalist planning there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the UK is furthest ahead of all of them in some ways because one of the things that really frightens us is the war against meat, which is really gathering pace here.
Yeah.
One of the supermarkets is actually going to stop providing meat. Imagine that. I mean, I don't think the other nations have got it yet.
So that's not going to be good for people's health. I mean,
no, it's terrible.
You look at these people; they're raising babies to be vegan, and these babies are suffering and atrophying, and in some ways, I was going to say it's even worse. Well, it's sort of even worse logically to do that to a dog, but obviously a dog is a dog and not a person. But you see what I mean? These people trying to force these dogs to not eat meat. It's like, oh man, what kind of dazed fake reality do they live in? I don't even know what to say about that. So
that's crazy. Yeah. So I have two questions.
Before that, I just want to mention that. Remember, the Masalsk county government wants people like you, if you have farming experience, to come there specifically to create meat. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I'd love to, but I think I'd be pretty useless.
Well, I would say people like us, the royal you, the grander, the we, and not the, as they would say in Russian. But anyway, what are your questions?
Well, one relates to a comment that JP just made actually in the chat about a residency fee of 15 million rubles. Is that true?
That is, remember, listen, let's go begin. To immigrate to Russia as part of this project, you're not going to have to pay 15 million rubles. The 15 million rubles is for certain rich people to get expedited towards citizenship with one click kind of their fingers.
Right, great.
And with their whole family. That's a 15 million ruble investment in a socially important project, and we are right now going to get that stamp on our project. And let me turn off your background sound there. So what's going to happen is a few people who might be more on the rich side, they could put forward their 15 million, and they could get an amazing house. And with the money left over, we can build then houses for other people. But those other people aren't going to get the houses for free. They're going to pay back into the village, and we're going to build the village and build the village and build the village. And in the long run, essentially, of that 15 million, the money that went towards other people's houses, they'll get a lot of that, if not most or possibly all of it back. So essentially, it'll create a sort of delayed, what would that be? Cash back. It'll create of this 15 million ruble thing to get super fast citizenship. It'll allow us to have be something like half of that money becomes almost like a cash back thing that you'll get later for those people. Now, that is for rich people who are they want their house now. They are able to do this. For everyone else, yeah, you're going to have a place in the migration quota. You can come here, but that also means that, you're going to have to go step by step. Get your, work with Timur. That's going to cost money. Timur can't work for free, but that's not a lot of money. That's a very nominal amount. And work with him and, do your temporary residency. And then after like a year and a half, you go to your permanent residency. And then after 3 years, you go to your citizenship. And that's going to be the sort of slower, more delayed route. Okay. And even if someone did have the money to pay the 15 million rubles and they would rather just do it the cheaper way, or they don't want to have this like weird delayed cashback thing, they don't have to. The average person who participates in this project is not going to have 15 million rubles to invest in anything. That is never going to happen. That would be like if the 1% decided to move to Russia. That's not going to happen. And I understand that, and that is not part of it. Timur's legal fees are very nominal, and Timur is a nice guy, and they could be paid off slowly over time as well. So it's not going to be, a lump sum. I think, what is it? process someone from A to Z, like process a family. I forget how much, like something like 70,000 rubles, something that, especially if you pay it off in like little chunks every month, is not much money to build a future. Trust me. So yeah, that was it. Anyways, Anna, now you can come back. Okay. What was question number 2? Hello. Anna, come back. Did I?
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I have to kind of demute myself. No, that's really great. That's a great answer, and it's put our mind at rest. So that's fantastic. Okay. Thank you. So actually, there is a supplementary question. So at what stage do you think we can actually start actually buying our houses then? At what point would you actually want some money from us just to buy an ordinary, medium, modest house?
Well, let me turn on the mute demon, because that is a very simple answer. As soon as we get the project, as they call it, like the plan for the village, that's actually not drawn by me on the computer, but drawn by like, an actual sort of planner from the government, we have to have that. We have to change the zoning, because the zoning as it stands now cannot have residential structures on it. So the day the zoning changes and the day we have that project drawn out, anyone could essentially start to build. I'd maybe recommend waiting until they finalize the finalize the actual like subdividing of the land. But if you're really in a hurry and you really have a lot of faith in me in this project and the Serpukhov and the Serpukhov government, county government, and the Moscow regional government, I wouldn't have a problem with you building your house before the subdividing has actually occurred, if you want. So a lot of people might not feel comfortable with that. That's why I wouldn't necessarily say 100% recommended. But again, this process, they already said it's going forward. There's no step back. Thank goodness. There could always be some sort of weird thing with now that we have to transfer this land to us. There could be one. I'm a little afraid that there could be some hitch with that land transfer. But in general, once we change the zoning, that allows residential buildings to be legally built on the land. And we also have to have that project drawn, because how do you know where you're going to build it? So those two things have to be there. The third thing would be amazing if the actual subdivision was done 100% and also in the legal sense, that on the big map that the Russian government has of all their territory and who owns what. It'd be really nice to have that, but that's optional. You don't have to do that. Okay. So anyways, Anna, we're going to move on to anyone. If anyone else wants to raise their hand, they can. I'm going to maybe read some questions. So Peter says, hello, Tim. Thanks for your live streams. So some good news, great news. Thank you. Much appreciated. Zed Alpha, please post the recording. I'm working. I will. All these recordings get saved, and I can see the little red dot up there that says that this is recording. That's not a big deal. Yeah, not a problem. What I miss. Here's the village proof. Okay, a lot of stickers being used. What's the fee? But yeah, so again, the fee for the actual participation in the village is essentially, remember, is 0. There's that special thing for maybe rich people who want to get this thing expedited and like help out the village in a way and get half their money back later. That's different, but the fee is actually really just you have to pay Timur's legal fees, because the guy's got to eat, man. He can't be doing 160 to 230 sets of immigration cases pro bono. So I guess that's the fee. And, there's going to be some weird stuff like, maybe running the electricity. But ultimately, the fee is you have to build a house on it, because no one's getting land unless they're going to build on it. That's the deal. Because we cannot have this project be this empty field where foreign people own this piece of land that they don't put anything on. This has to be a real living community. Okay, so there you go. So there really aren't any fees. Yeah, Peter, any thoughts about having some small shops in the village? Yes, the right side of the main road is reserved as sort of public property for people to experiment with farming, screw around with their animals, maybe on occasion screw around with other dumb stuff. Who knows what they want to do, but that's kind of the screw around space. And on the right side of the road will be a church. There will probably be a building for a school, because some of the ladies mentioned that they would like to actually do, ironically, homeschooling, but for all the children in the community at like our own school. Okay. And of course there could be shops, but one of the most simple things to do, Peter, is this is Russia. Build a shop right in front of your house on your own territory. If you want to have like a little shop, you might as well just build it right there because that's your land and that's easy. But yeah, we kind of like to have in the plan as it stands now, there's kind of room for like 5 buildings downtown. So most likely you'll not be able to compete with large grocery chains. Yeah, but you know, with the large grocery chains, it's a little bit different. It could be like a little store just for people to get like a beer before they go to sleep or macaroni or something. So U.S. cities run by the hard left. I don't know. In July 24 for building the commerce, how soon can folks pay the $50 million for the residency donation? Who gets the donation? The government does. Who gets the donation? That would go to the Russian government. It was the program is again called a culturally significant project, and they would get it. So yeah, it goes to the government. Well. Oh, no, I'm misexplaining that. Does it go to your LLC? Well, in a way, it does. So it goes to the government, and the government gives it to us. So all that money essentially would be used. One half would be used for the person to have their own house, then the other half would be used to build other people's houses who will then pay that money back. Sorry, I got confused on my own sort of setup here. And so the person should get, like if they give 15, they should expect to get probably ultimately, 5, 6 back because there's always going to be these other fees and something with some sort of pipes or whatever. But they should be able to get a significant portion of that back. But then again, guys, when it comes to that question about this, how the specifics of this contributing to a socially important project work, that's a little bit more of a question for Timur. I'm going to have him write that out. So when I make like a PDF, the first thing I need to do is just make a PDF about this project. It's going to be written beautifully by Timur, a real lawyer. So that way it's said clearly and consistently, unlike the way I'm saying it right now. Regarding the tech triangle, can you look into the type of college degrees that our kids could plan on obtaining? I don't know. Let me take a look. I don't know about college degrees over there. Let's see. What's this? Okay. I don't know. You guys probably can't hear what's happening on my screen, can you? Probably not. I don't know. Anyways, what if we make this full screen? What if I do this? We share the screen 2. We share it. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but we're going to. But I hear it. So basically this guy down here is saying that it's going to be this big conglomeration of amazing stuff down there. That Pushino is like the biggest, it'll be the biggest biological research center in the world. Not diseases. Don't worry, it's not a military thing. They're going to make medicine to work on preventing and healing strokes and damage from that. Now here you can see the triangle. 191,000 people are going to be inside that triangle, plus us. That's the mayor of Serpukhov, of the county, or count of Serpukhov. They're saying that factory there that's in downtown Serpukhov is also going to be completely transformed into something else. Wait. Hold on. No. What's this? Computer technology and robot technology, biotechnology, hospital clinics, radio technology. I wonder what they mean by that. Center for ion ray therapy, maybe like I guess MRT is what it looks like. Synchrotron. I don't know. Some residential complexes and more hospitals. Okay. I'm not quite sure. A little confusing there. Well, he's saying, there's the Silicon Valley. Well, it's kind of our plans to do something similar in Russia, but even better. Well, dude, that's tough. Do the same, but even better. But then again, the Silicon Valley seems to be collapsing, so who knows? The bar is low. He's talking about IT technology, about doing the IT technology, teaching it, and so that way the best specialists stay in Russia and hopefully stay in Serpukhov. And that here people have, at least in the past, worked, I don't know why I say it in the past, or worked in the world of like microchips and all that. Because although they don't make that many, or at least officially, Russia does produce microchips. Oh, they want to increase the total capacity in Serpukhov for residences for 100,000 people. Wow. I did not hear that the first time I watched this. Increasing Serpukhov, because remember, they just showed that this total triangle has 191,000 people now. They basically want to add 50% more people to the triangle. Crazy, including us. He said that the construction has already begun and that what they showed on camera was a hospital. This is some sort of rehabilitation center. That they've sort of redone all the local, sports stuff, sports facilities. By the way, this guy is the most stereotypical Soviet athlete guy in the world. They all look like him, all of them. One of their projects, they also want to do things that are more on a global scale, including creating some sort of supercomputer that's going to be able to have an extreme capacity for analyzing what's happening on the internet. And to look for potential threats. Hopefully not from me. Oh, and a collider for, particle collider. Okay, fantastic. All right. No, let's stop sharing the screen. Stop. Okay. So anyways, Chebuchev is back. Did you have some other kind of question there, or was the video that inspirational?
Yes, actually. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I found a way to transfer money to Russia.
Oh. Shh. Bitcoin.
Okay. I'll stop.
Yeah. Dude, they're closing them by the day. Everyone's just like, well, why don't you just open a bank account in Kazakhstan or Georgia or Armenia? Boy, that loophole's getting closed real quick. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I won't mention it then.
Keep it close. Unless you want to send me money, then tell me off here. If you're the mood to send money, I'm in the mood to receive it, baby. Because thanks to one extremely generous donation, I have to say, you know who you are. You made an extremely generous donation to me recently, and it really first off, it saved my butt after buying that apartment, which was maybe there's pluses and minuses. But guess what, guys? The transmission on the X's car blew. So thankfully, I had enough padding to deal with that. It wound up being like $400 to get a new transmission and the new the support that actually kind of holds the right front wheel in place, the support cracked. Well, we've done a lot of off-roading with that sedan. We shouldn't be surprised that cracked over time. But yeah, so thanks for saving my butt, certain person. You know exactly who you are. So if anyone else wants to help me save my save my butt from future crises, I won't stop you. Be it Bitcoin or Boosty. Remember, oh my gosh, guys, remember Boosty is always available. If you go right on the Tim Kirby Hardcore, you can go right to the Boosty and donate right now. You can also send me money over Binance. Oh my gosh, what an amazing day that would make it. Let's see, where are the other comments? Oh my, there's 130 comments. Are you kidding me? Maybe that must be the whole channel. I guess the people really perked up today. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have a longer live stream today. I kind of want to go to sleep, but I guess I'm not. So anyways, let's go back and try to make sure that these comments are relative to what we're talking about here. BNB address. Yeah, let me write that real quick. BTC plus Ethereum. Yes, BTC plus Ethereum. Okay. Let's see. We have and this related to this topic. We have 37 comments at this point. In the future, can I link to something? Link to what? I'm sorry. JP, dude. I'm sorry. I don't know what linking to what. I'm lost now. So the closest city to the project. Okay. Pod Moklova. But remember, it's Pod Moklova. 1-0 gets the emphasis. The other one's one of the schoolhouse. Yeah, I like that schoolhouse idea, but again, it matters about who shows up, guys, because of the hundreds. No. Let's just say it's like with anything, of the thousands of people over the years that have asked me about moving to Russia, who are Western English speakers. We've boiled it down to, I think there's a few hundred who have actually sort of like contacted me and gotten serious. Then you boil it down to about 80 sets of passports. And all we need are those first pioneers to come in and get this going, and it'll be amazing. But with the school, that depends on the ladies. That depends on the moms, because what if all the single guys show up? There's not much of a schoolhouse. But the schoolhouse, I think, is a good idea. So it also shouldn't be too crazy to build. It's kind of just like big open rooms. 2 different sizes homes, small or larger. Do you still have a total in the estimate for cost? Probably the thing is the company that we're going to go through, their more larger houses are 67 million rubles, and I would really like to simplify that. If they could do it for 5 million rubles, a big house, that would be amazing. Amazing. And do the little one for like 3.5. That would be brilliant. In the future, as days go by and you learn more, don't expect to have answers today. Good night. Oh, good night to you, Daniel. Good night. Can you link to that chat? Again, I think some of these comments are not directed towards me. My research shows Russia will be the best country to live in for the next 100 years. I don't know, man. We'll see. But I like it, as you can tell. But who knows? Maybe I'm already biased by now because I can't leave. So I have no choice but to like it. So I spelled it. Thank you. Link to what you were looking at a few minutes. Oh, that, yeah, this, the video we just watched. It's right here. However, the site is kind of weird. You have to actually, to get to the video, you have to scroll down. Okay. Scroll down to see video. Who would make a news website where you have to scroll to see the video? That's the best part. The top part is just like a picture and a headline and an advertisement. Ren TV, what are you doing? You're doing this wrong. You're doing everything wrong. Okay, so most of those comments are between people on themselves. Okay, guys, so here we go. Last chance here, because I need to wake up because my kid has a soccer tournament tomorrow, so I'm going to have to go all the way on the weekend downtown again. So going to be a lot more of seeing the same train going an hour and a half the same direction. So yeah, something like 5 million smaller, 7 million larger. Well, that's what the prices they have now, Peter, for that company. That's their prices as they are now. Like I said, they have a lot of superfluous aspects of their homes that I think could be eliminated. I really think the price could get shaved down, But again, there are a lot of unreliable builders in Russia. We have to find a reliable builder. But also remember, as I mentioned before, is that it's a first come, first serve. If someone comes out here and they show me, they're like, Tim, I just paid for XYZ company to put a foundation down on my property. Or they say, Tim, me and my Russian buddies there, look at this wood we've got. Look at this rebar. We've got we just paid for a cement mixer to come on out and pour. We're pouring a foundation. Let's do this thing. Then you get the spot first. Okay, and you do not have to use any particular homes that are part of our project here. Although I would really recommend it because we're going to try to, have a good company do this. And building your own home is fun, but it is not that easy. Especially the bigger they get, the harder it gets. It is very easy to build like a stick frame, almost shed-sized building once you're getting into like a 2-story thing with the stairs and all this stuff. That's a whole nother issue. So anyways, it looks like today's live stream might have been a success, and it looks like I'm going to be uploading this and then going to sleep because no one else is talking. Okay, guys, last scan of messages. Well, that's all done. Fantastico. Yeah. So anyways, guys, good news. American Village is going to happen. All right. That was a weird background noise. What was that? But anyways, the American Village is going to happen. And, yeah, see you in, at the very latest, July 4th, 2024. End that live stream.